but it's not LIV. I think that's the thing. I still hate LIV. Like, I hate LIV. Like, I hope it goes away, and I would fully expect that it does. And I think that's where the distinction here is. This is the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the PIF.
There you go, Rory McIlroy sharing probably some of the opinions of a lot of PGA Tour players after yesterday's news about, if you want to call it a merger or whatever, an alliance between the PGA, the DP Tour, and LIV Golf. And joining us now, our own expert, Bob Casper. You hear him every single week on Real Golf Radio. Bob, I got to ask you, I mean, it's just been a very emotional 24 hours. When you woke up yesterday, when I first woke up and read this, I thought it was a joke, like somebody was having fun.
April Fools.
What? Yeah, but we were way past April.
But it's June.
Yeah, I know. What was your initial reaction to this?
My mind was blown. Boof. I didn't know what was going on. I immediately jumped on and watched statements and read articles and watched the CNBC interview. I did everything I could to garner all the information. And the thing that I think is really, really important here is that it's the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, not LIV Golf, but the Public Investment Fund. And I fully think that Greg Norman, as the CEO of LIV Golf, is no longer going to be involved. I really feel that Greg Norman did the bidding of the PIF for them to get a seat at the table, and now they have it.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that you've got a lot of, shall we say, rightfully angry golfers on the PGA Tour. And Bob, here's the thing: a lot of these guys stayed loyal, turned down the money, and the ones that did take the money are now going to be allowed to come back. How do you justify that, or even deal with that if you're the PGA Commissioner?
Well, they're going to be able to come back with consequences, and especially those that started the antitrust lawsuit. I think there was 11 or 12 or 13 of them, and one by one they fell off, and LIV Golf basically was in the lawsuit with the PGA Tour and the counter lawsuit from the PGA Tour to LIV Golf. So there will be consequences. There are things that they're going to have to do, things that are going to have to be worked out. And those players that held and towed the line, I feel, will fully be made whole because that's what it's all been insinuated to. Whether that's the amount of money they would have made by going and they pay it out over a certain period of time or whatever, I don't know. But that will come forward, and those guys will be made whole, no doubt.
Here's the interesting point here. The LIV Golf, they were getting no viewers at all.
Right.
There were obviously Brooks Koepka won the PGA, so that's positive. Thing. There were rumblings of some players on LIV that were already regretting it and thinking about coming back. It seemed like the PGA had them right where they wanted them, and now suddenly they're all together, which kind of smacks of a money grab. How would you characterize this?
Well, Rory said it perfectly. He said, listen, they've got all the money in the world, and you can either let them continue on the way they're going, or you can benefit from them having all that money and being able to direct it the way that you need it. So I think that's the way you have to look at this. It's a business decision. A lot of the players aren't happy about it, especially the players that are guys that are lower on the totem pole, so to speak, trying to keep their cards and that kind of thing. But I think all in all, when you look at this whole thing, when it starts back up in 2024, when players are going to be able to work back into the PGA Tour and have that option, I think it's and going forward, I think it's going to be better for the PGA Tour.
Do you have any understanding at all of how? I mean, the DP Tour, they have their own, primarily in Europe. Will some of these LIV Tour events be molded into a PGA schedule, or do you have any insight at all on where that might go, how that's going to work?
No. Have no idea. All I know is that the schedules are going to be such that they're not going to be conflicting. in the United States, like we've had DP World Tour events the same weeks as PGA Tour events, those types of things. So I think that is yet to be figured out. Also, will there be a team aspect, or how is that going to all work out? And what events? We've got a team aspect. We've got a team event or partner event on the PGA Tour right now in New Orleans. Rory McIlroy talked about the venture that he and Tiger and the PGA Tour have put together with this TGL and the arenas and stuff that's more virtual and less on the golf course that they're going to be doing in prime time on Monday nights. So there's a lot of different things, but we've been assured that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, that all this stuff's going to be ironed out and we'll be able to move forward.
Well, the commissioner did mention something about the team golf, and you just alluded to that in a way. I would find it hard to believe they would do it purely the way the LIV Tour is doing it.
Exactly.
And if they do, please don't use that scoreboard. I've watched some of their events, and it's very confusing.
It's horrible.
But, I mean, could you see that on a week-to-week basis?
No. I think maybe if they're going to do it, there might be some isolated events, or there could be some events in the fall where they might have kind of a team concept and that kind of thing. But it's not going to be 54 holes. It's not going to be shorts. It's not going to be the Crushers and the 4 Aces, that kind of thing. It's going to be a totally different type of concept.
I was going to ask you about the shorts. There's no way the PGA
not a chance
is going to have these guys wearing shorts.
Not a chance.
I think it was Tiger Woods made the comment that the guys on the LIV Tour in shorts look like a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids out having a fun day on the golf course. Go ahead.
And the other thing I was going to say is the way it's formulated right now, the PGA Tour has the majority on this whole situation. So the PGA Tour is in charge, and the PGA Tour is the one that inside the ropes will be doing all the rules and competition, all the formatting, the tournaments, all that kind of thing. The DP World Tour is doing it the same way, and the PIF is the one that's going to be overall infusing dollars and cents into this type of golf. And if there's a little off branch with some minor tournaments with LIV, then that's what's going to be there.
Well, we should clarify too. The PIF does have a seat on the new board.
Absolutely.
In fact, I think he's
chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board. Yeah. So
chairman of the board, and then the Jay Monahan is the CEO of that new LLC that they're going to be forming.
Bob, if I had to pick you or ask you to pick one big winner in all this, I mean, I would say it's probably Koepka or Lefty, because they got all their money and now they'll probably be able to play PGA if they want. But who would you say at the end of the day, when the dust settles, who's the real winner in this? Or maybe it's just the game of golf.
Well, I think it is the game of golf. I think the PGA Tour is going to get a huge influx of cash. And I, right now we have about 12 to 14 designated events that are $20 million purses. I think it could be that every tournament on the PGA Tour is going to be a $20 million purse. Okay, going forward, I think the PIF got what they wanted. In fact, they got a seat at the table with world ranking points and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good mutual thing right now, although it is totally shocking, and I was a guy that was not for it.
Well, we'll see how it all unfolds, and I appreciate your insight. You're the one guy I wanted to talk to more than anyone on this. Before I let you go, got to talk about the summer, Hayes. Boyd's kids, Preston and Grace. They both qualified for the U.S. Open. Actually, Grace did a couple weeks ago, but Boyd did it yesterday, had to hit an eagle just to get to the playoff, and then he won it. How about these two youngsters and what's coming up for them next week, the U.S. Open? Yeah,
both state of Utah amateur champions, both great players, both play for Arizona State. Preston's an All-American this year. For him to shoot 62 in the second round to get into the playoff, like you said with that eagle, phenomenal golf. And Grace is a phenomenal player as well, and she's slowly working her way up the ranks in amateur golf. Preston right now, I think he's ranked 24th in the world in the amateur rankings. So he's got a great crew there that love playing the game, and Preston and Grace have a little brother that loves playing it as well.
Yeah. Well, Bob, again, thank you so much for being part of this. Be sure you catch out Bobby Casper, Real Golf Radio. They are the foremost authority on all things golf, whether it's LIV, PGA, or DP. Thanks, Bobby.
There we go. Thanks.